walked through the locker room and it was hanging up in the locker room. And so talked to those guys about it. Butch Thompson said it best because it's more helpful when it comes from within, and it came from within. It came from Brody Moore and came from these older guys going, look, we want it to be bad news for everybody that voted us last in the West. That's been a motivational factor for this team. And I think you look at Texas A&M. Texas A&M was voted sixth. I think it's probably the same thing for them. Those two, Texas A&M and Auburn were sixth and seventh preseason in the West. Those two teams are still playing with 16 teams left in the country. It can be a big motivational tool because there's not a lot of difference in from about really from 2 to 8 or 9 in the Southeastern Conference. Tennessee obviously is a much different animal this season. Everybody else is pretty close to the same. It's a couple of games here or there, and Auburn made some of those plays this season, and were able to kind of put it all together. And now they're still playing. But yeah, it's been a motivational factor for this team. They've continued to kind of grow and get after it a little bit. And you got some guys that have been there, done it. I mean, Brody Moore and Casey Howell started for 4 years. Brody Moore, those guys played in the College World Series. Carson Skipper, they've been to Omaha before. And, you look at this program, the expectations from Butch Thompson, those guys, they know what buttons to push when they get in the postseason. Now, that could all end this weekend against a really good Oregon State team. But as I wrote today, I answered a question in my Friday mailbag. It won't be because these guys are intimidated. It won't be because these guys aren't prepared. Sometimes in baseball, you make a play. Sometimes you don't. But I know one thing: these guys will be ready to roll, and they get some quality starts like they did last weekend. Then this team can play with anybody.